On the fourth day of the Emily Awards, my true love gave to me
4 feet a racing, 3 adult onesies, 2 hands a brushing, and a baby pulling stuff off my tree.
Hey everybody, back again for day 4 of the Emily Awards. This one's going to be on eyeshadow and eyeliner, and I've kind of split up the overall eye category between a couple of videos. So shadow and liner today, and then we'll do brows and lashes in the next video. And eyes are always a very popular part of the Emily Awards, so I am so excited to share my favorites with you. As always, this takes a lot of work to go through everything I love and whittle it down to a favorite in every category, or a high-end and a drugstore favorite. That is really tough. With certain categories and certain products, there is just that clear winning thing that jumps right to my mind. But then some categories, I've got like 5 or 6 things that could be very close. So just because I declare something an Emily Award winner doesn't mean that's the only good thing out there. It's just I'm really trying to be choosy and ask myself that question in a certain price range. If I could only pick one, what would it be? That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do this without a lot of ties this year. But I'm gonna kick things off with my first category, which is eyeshadow primer. And I feel funny even like talking about this. You guys know what the answer is. It is Milani eyeshadow primer. I go through these not really that fast. I mean, it takes me a long time to drain one, I feel like. But this one has almost bit the dust. It says lightweight, invisible finish, works on all skin tones. It really is, in my mind, the ideal eyeshadow primer. And I have played around with a few different ones here recently, especially different ones from Urban Decay, and you put them on and they can effectively act as an eyeshadow primer. I think they help shadows cling. I think they can extend the wear time that you get, but some of those end up being like so thick and there's so much pigment and color to them, you really got to work with them. It's like it's created another application step in itself. With this, I've become so conditioned for exactly what I need to do. You know, a tiny bit between 2 fingers, just dab it on. It blends in so quickly and easily, and it helps every shadow from the cheapest of the cheap to the more expensive cling better, wear longer. I think everybody needs to be using an eyeshadow primer with their looks, and this is an affordable go-to, so this is the only one that I'm naming in this category because I haven't tried anything high-end that I think is as good as this. My next category is for cream and liquid shadows, and my high-end winner is a newcomer this year. It's Laura Mercier, and it's their Caviar sticks, and specifically what's really impressed me are the matte ones that have come out, and I think these blend so beautifully. They can either act as like this really nice canvas on your eyes to do other stuff on top of, or just use them on their own as a long-wearing, locked-in shadow look. A couple that I think are beautiful are Blossom, which has this soft, kind of pinky tone. The other day I was wearing that paired with Au Natural, which adds just this slight shadow to my skin tone, just the lightest brown, and those two together I thought is so beautiful. Like, I was kind of taken aback by how pretty that was. But again, what I love about these is that they can be your finished look because they set, or they can be your starting point and you can kind of use them as a base and put other stuff on top. The other Caviar sticks with the shimmer I think are gorgeous as well. And another thing that I was toying with, I wasn't sure which should win in this category, were the Mally shadow sticks because I think she does some of the most beautiful, like a range of shimmery, nude, neutral colors. They set to a long wearing state as well, but for just overall range, I think the Laura Mercier Caviar sticks are really doing it best because they've got the beautiful shimmers, but they've got this huge range of mattes as well. They complement the shimmers so nicely, or just a standalone thing. It can be a gorgeous look. My favorite cream or liquid shadows from the drugstore, definitely without a doubt, the L'Oreal Infallible Paints. These are so much fun. If you haven't seen my full video where I swatched everything out and did a look with them and all that stuff, you've got to see it because these are so impressive. They have a really great shade range, some very colorful things, but some gorgeous neutrals as well. And you kind of have to look at them closely, but some are matte, some are shimmer. This little duo here I love. It's called Navy Yard, and both of these shades have a little bit of like a satiny finish. This navy blue and then the peach, gorgeous together. But they're so easy to apply and blend across the skin. You can use your fingers, or I like synthetic brushes, like Real Techniques brushes are great with these. They can be really fun liner pops. They've got gorgeous like jade green colors in this line, purples, the warm kind of peachy shades as well. There's so much to look into, so I would definitely check those out if you're wanting kind of a new eyeshadow experience. As I was mapping out the the Emily Awards this year, I decided I wanted a category for single shadows because I think the singles need to be making a comeback. I want to make this declaration right now that I want to start using the singles that I have more. And a high-end favorite that I want to share with you that I think is just an outstanding shadow formula for shimmer specifically is the Kat Von D Metal Crush. Now I have a couple of these, and these two shades that I'm pointing out here I think are probably some of the prettiest shadows I own. One is called Iggy and this one is Raw Power. That rusty kind of little bit murky red cranberry color is so beautiful, especially this time of year. And hey, here's your green too. These have such a beautiful pigmented sheen to them. There are other great colors in this lineup as well. So if you are in a situation where you don't need a full palette and you just want to pick and choose and you want something really shiny and pretty on the lids, I think this formula is awesome. And then my drugstore favorite happens to be matte, and it's the L'Oreal Color Riche Singles, specifically the mattes. That's a very important distinction to make here because the shimmers in this line have been hit and miss for me, but the mattes have been just glorious. They are glorious. These here, I mean, I did a whole video on these, so I'll link to that where I did a look with them. This color here is called Acromat, and then we have Mattison Avenue here, and this one's kind of like a plummy dark brown. This has all that terracotta warmth to it on this other shade, and the pigmentation's gonna blow your mind. They really have great staying power. They're the kind of shadows that actually seem to have some sort of staining ability because you swatch them on your skin and they are there. They're not the kind of thing where you swatch them and then you could just dust them away. These can really lock in for fantastic staying power, and you know they would pair nicely with one of the Kat Von D singles. One thing you might notice here as far as a category that I don't have in the Emily Awards that I used to have years back is like just overall best shadow formula. And I didn't feel that that was necessary because I think anything that I'm giving a shout out to here in terms of palettes or singles, anything that I'm talking about is a really good formula. Like it wouldn't be getting a mention in this video if I didn't think the formula was some of the best I've ever tried. Next category, number 4, is going to be small palettes. My high-end favorites, I do have two. Number 1, my Viseart Theory palettes. I really love Viseart shadows just across the board. I think they might be one of my top favorite shadow formulas. They do their matte palettes so great, their shimmery palettes. I've just, over the past year, I've developed such an appreciation for this brand, and I feel like I've learned more about the brand and I just love what's going on. But one of the things that I think they've done best are the Theory palettes, and if you're not familiar, these are a little bit smaller, and with the exception of the Nuance palette, they are half matte, half shimmer. And I think that's a great way to get to sample what the brand can do and just create some really well-balanced looks. So I love the one in Amethyst. This is the best purple eyeshadow palette, period. Gorgeous shimmers here. The mattes are great. This dark matte plum is everything. This can look a whole range of ways depending on how much you sheer it out or how much you pack it on. So I love Amethyst and I also love Minx. So if you're looking for a place to start from Viseart, I would say look to the Theory palettes first because the formulas are amazing and you get to try both matte and shimmer. Now my co-winner that at first I just had the Viseart and then I kept sampling these palettes from Marc Jacobs and I couldn't look away. Like it was on my conscience that these palettes and these formulas are so good. And I'm talking about the iconic palettes, the ones packaged like this. Now I feel like this is kind of a made over range because I remember when I had one of these years ago, probably when the beauty brand launched, and I think it was called Lolita or something. It was a really neutral one and it was fine, you know, it was okay, but this iconic selection of palettes that they've come out with are really like, wow. Awesome formula, really fun pairing of different textures within the palettes, and I'm just going to name a few of my favorites. This one's Scandalust. This one I knew at a glance that these were my kind of shades, and then I did a look with it and I'm like, oh yes, I absolutely adore that. I also really love Edgitorial. That's right, it's not editorial, it's Edgitorial. The dark greens, the really deep matte forest green here, so stunning. And then today I'm wearing the one called Smartorial, and this one I didn't think was going to be one of my favorites, but I am loving the blue. Like, it's amazing. These are so pigmented. I love the mattes. There are shimmery, like metallic shades. There are shades with just a little bit of sheen going on in here. It's such a nice variety of finishes and so high quality. Once I really started playing with those, I could not like turn my back on them. They had to be included here. My favorite small palette from the drugstore, definitely the Milani Everyday Eyes collection. What a great like small selection of shades to be able to grab grab for and create the full look. And I really appreciate the way these are put together because it's a very small number of shades, but in all of these palettes, they've given you everything you need. You know, you have the mid-tone mattes, you have a little shimmer to play with, you've got your highlight shades, and they're also excellent quality too. So I love this one with the warm shades here. This is called Earthy Elements. And then a lovely subscriber sent me a couple that she knew I didn't have. So there's Plum Basics and then that really colorful one too. I'm very grateful for that because where I live, I feel like the selection of these little palettes gets very picked over and they don't always even carry all the different ones in store. And I have recently gotten a lot of questions about Wet n Wild's new packaging and formula and everything, and I haven't been able to get my hands on those yet. So that's something that definitely hasn't been up for consideration in the Emily Awards this year, but I'll be looking into it, you know, after these videos. My large palette favorite here, no real surprise, Lorac Mega Pro 4. I think this is just one of the gems of my collection. I love what's in here. I've sung its praises before. If you've been keeping up with my videos, you probably don't even want to hear it again, but a unique, fun selection of shades, yet every essential shade that I would want as well. From warm to cool, 2 rows of matte, 2 rows of shimmer. I'll link below to the full review if you're interested, but I have noticed this marked down constantly on Ulta's website. It's my top Mega Pro palette that they've ever put together, and it's just like, it prompts the unexpected. And then my drugstore favorite for large palette, and these were, you know, right up there, very high on my list last year when I was doing my top 10 style videos, and it's Makeup Revolution. I mean, they have come out with some really impressive stuff. They seem to crank it out very quickly, and not only do they have a lot of variety in their line, but I think they've got a lot of quality in their line. One that I was in particular very happy with within the past year that I've tried is their Ultra Eye Contour Light and Shade palette. Very, very nice quality here. It says on this sticker, new formula, talc free, and they are very smooth, very easy to work with. I know it looks like the Kat Von D Shade and Light, but it's giving you that kind of effect. Another here that I have gotten so much use out of is my Neutrals versus Neutrals palette. It's got the plums, the peaches. I love that color scheme. For best eyeliner pencil, I'm gonna go with, for my high-end favorite, the Makeup Forever Aqua XL line. I don't find myself using eyeliner pencils so much as like my primary eyeliner, like going across my upper lash line. A lot of times if I do eyeliner, I wanna go for liquid there just because I find there's so much ease in that and so much great staying power. But when I do reach for a pencil, I like using them in my lower inner rim or on my lower lash line, maybe for a pop of color here or there. And I do that so much with this range from Makeup Forever because they last really well. They're very smooth and creamy, but they got a fantastic shade range. So whatever look I'm going for, I feel like I can grab for one of these and have kind of just the right color to throw into the mix. So they've got a great basic brown, M60. I've used this quite a bit in my lower inner rim. And then I love this blue as well, M22. Use that alongside brown eyes and I feel like for whatever reason they look extra brown and extra rich. My drugstore pencil, I've got a couple here because one I think is specifically good in the waterline, and then the other I like to use as, again, the pop of color. The Master Precise Skinny, which has gotten shout outs before in the Emily Awards, I think this is so easy to just target that lower inner rim, or if you want to smudge it just a little bit between the lashes. Amazing staying power. I think there's just a few shades that this is available in, but I like it in the defining black, and it is just super duper skinny. We're talking the skinniness of like an Anastasia Brow Wiz, just in a retractable eyeliner. And then the L'Oreal Silkissime range. These are not the longest wearing eyeliners in the world, but if you're using them for the purpose of like a lower lash line pop, they are so pretty. And what I will do, you know, is take, for example, this purple shade, and I might put it on my lower lash line and then top it off with a coordinating shadow. And then that fusion of different textures does create a long wearing look. But they really have some beautiful shades in this line. From the purple, there's a gorgeous turquoise. They've got more basic shades also. They go on with very little pressure applied, and I think that's very important because you have to be gentle with the eye area. I only have one favorite in the category of cream and gel liner because I haven't used a lot of this kind of thing this year. I probably should have made a point to test more and maybe give this front runner a little more competition, but it's very unique and I haven't seen anything quite like it. I loved this one last year as well, but it's the Tarteist Clay Paint Liner, and this is just a mini size that I have here, but the delivery method on here, just the way they do this is so cool because it's like you've got a squeezy tube, but at the top of the squeeze tube is its own little palette. So you can totally squeeze up some liner and then take your brush and make sure you've got like just the right amount on your brush, and it gives you this perfect little area to clear off the excess, and then you go at your lash line without over gooping yourself. And the texture of this is a lot creamier than what you find in the little pots of cream and gel liner. It's kind of the perfect middle ground between liquid and cream is what you've got in here. And then my last category for this video is liquid liner. And I haven't tried a high-end liquid liner that I thought really measured up to what I was loving from the drugstore. I have quite a few, but just nothing is impressing me quite so much. So I do have two different drugstore favorites here. The one is my Jordana Color Envy Waterproof. Even late in the year here, as I have bounced around and tried some different things, this one reigns supreme. It says it's waterproof. It truly is waterproof. It's totally black. It's matte. There's nothing funky about the brush. It's just a very classic fine brush tip. You can get right in there to your inner corner and get just as precise as you need to be. You can do a beautiful wing with this as well. I find this on Jordana's website and I'll order like 4 at a time because I don't see them in any drugstores around me. But if you prefer the pen style, a pen style liner that I've just been loving here lately is the Infallible Super Slim from L'Oreal. I have this in black, and a lot of people find this to be a very easy way to apply eyeliner with the pen. What makes this special is all the tip that they're giving you here. It's a rather long tip with a very gentle taper. So when they do that, you can almost feel like you can stamp this across your lash line and not always have to drag it straight off the tip. It's juicy, it's black, it seems to go on very full color even when you're going on top of super shimmery eyeshadows, so I love that one. Whew, that was a big video, big category there for the eyeshadows and liners. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the Emily Awards so far, and in my next video we'll be getting into brow products, mascara products, things for lashes, so I hope you'll be back for that one, and I will see you soon. Bye!